Get ready to time travel. We're going straight back to the raddest era of fashion, the 1980s. This was a decade where your shoes said something, when shoes were the outfit. Whether you were jamming to a Walkman or showing off in the schoolyard, your kicks had to be cool, colorful, and totally bodacious. The 80s had kids pulling summer jobs just to buy a pair of shoes. It wasn't because the shoes were outrageously expensive. Oh no, it was because just when you decided you didn't need to buy more shoes, Reebok or LA Gear would make a new release, and before you knew it, you were saving up for the new pair of kicks. In this video, we're listing off the shoes that made 80s kids beg their parents at the mall. The ones that lit up the playground, ruled MTV music videos, and gave you street cred from head to toe. Number 1, Chelsea Crew Rizzo Saddle Oxfords. Alright, let's start with a blast from the past, the Chelsea Crew Rizzo Saddle Oxfords. These babies took their cue from the classic 1950s saddle shoes, but made a serious comeback in the 1980s, especially among preppy kids and fans of vintage fashion. With their bold two-tone style, low heel, and that unforgettable black and white contrast, they gave off strong Grease vibes. You could almost picture yourself as Rizzo from the Pink Ladies, whirling around the school dance floor. These shoes were often worn with rolled-up jeans, high socks, or even pleated skirts. If you were rocking saddle Oxfords in the 1980s, you were either in retro fashion, drama club, or both. They weren't flashy, but they had attitude. They had quiet confidence with a side of sass. Number 2, White Keds Champion Shoes. If there was one shoe that screamed everyday cool, it was the classic White Keds Champion. Clean, minimal, and effortlessly chic, Keds became the go-to footwear for girls across America in the 1980s. These canvas sneakers were lightweight and breathable, making them perfect for gym class, walking to the arcade, or hanging out at the roller rink. And because they were all white, they went with everything, from acid wash jeans to polka dot dresses. But the real power move? The commercials. Keds were marketed with that girl next door energy. Sweet, sporty, and just a little rebellious. Even celebrities like Yoko Ono wore them. She even got married wearing them. And if you scuffed your Keds, it was a badge of honor. You lived in them, worn them to the fair, danced in them. Keds were simple, sure, but they were super iconic in their own right. Number 3, the Pump by Reebok. Now this was where science fiction met the basketball court. Introduced in 1989, the Reebok Pump was one of the boldest sneaker experiments of the decade. With its built-in inflation system, yes, a tiny pump built into the tongue, you could literally adjust the fit to your foot. These were way more than shoes. The Reebok Pumps were literal gadgets. Every kid who saw the commercial immediately pictured themselves dunking from half court. And with NBA stars like Dominique Wilkins and Dee Brown backing them, they had serious hype. Though they hit the stores right at the end of the decade, the Pump became the ultimate dream sneaker. Flashy? Yep. Expensive? Definitely. Worth it? Every penny. If your parents would cave in. Plus, that iconic sound when you pump the tongue? Music to every kid's ears. Reebok completely snapped with the Pump and gave us a flex. Number 4, Warrais. Say hello to one of the most stylish imports of the 1980s, Warrais. Originally handcrafted in Mexico, these woven leather sandals exploded in popularity among fashion-forward teens in the US during the 1980s. They had that earthy bohemian vibe, like something you'd wear to an outdoor festival or an art class in the park. The woven leather gave them a distinct look, and their breathability made them a favorite in warmer weather. Warrais were versatile. Girls paired them with denim skirts and crop tops. Boys wore them with rolled-up khakis and oversized tees. If you had a pair, chances you were a little artsy, a little alternative, and very much in your fashion bag. They weren't about flash. They're all about feeling. Comfort, tradition, and a flair all wrapped into one seriously cool shoe. In a decade full of high tops and neon, Warrais brought the balance of simplicity. Number 5, LA Gear tennis shoes. If there's one shoe that turned every sidewalk into a dance floor, it was LA Gear tennis shoes. Born for flash and flair, LA Gear came out swinging in the mid-80s with colors that practically glowed, and in some cases, actually did. Some models had light-up soles. Others had metallic finishes, layered tongues, or glittery laces. If you wanted attention, these were the shoes. LA Gear became a fashion statement and a pop culture powerhouse, thanks to mega endorsements from celebrities like Michael Jackson and Paula Abdul. And let's be real, if you stomped into the classroom wearing LA Gears that lit up, you didn't need to say anything. Your shoes spoke for you. If they were bright, bold, and just the right amount of extra, in one word, iconic. Number 6, Sperry boat shoes. Welcome to preppy paradise. In the late 1980s, Sperry boat shoes weren't just for boaters, they became the ultimate status symbol at school. Originally designed in the 1930s for sailors, Sperry's caught on a second wind in the early 1980s as a part of the Ivy League look. Think polo shirts, sweaters around the shoulders, and khakis. If your name was Chad or Blair, you probably had a closet full of these. They were comfy, durable, and had a non-slip sole. Perfect for, well, yachts, or just flexing in the cafeteria. Even if you didn't own a boat, Sperry's gave you that summer in Nantucket vibe. They made your outfits look effortless in a way that often came with old money. Wearing them was like saying, yeah, I summer somewhere. And that made them irresistible to the 80s teen elite. Number 7, Cody James Camden Western Cowboy Boots. Yeehaw! The 80s weren't all neon and synth. Western fashion galloped into the scene, and Cody James Camden Cowboy Boots rode in style. Made from leather with stitched patterns and pointed toes, these boots had that rugged charm. Whether you were a city slicker or a small town star, cowboy boots became the major statement piece. TV shows like Dallas and country stars like Garth Brooks helped push cowboy culture into mainstream. Even Michael Jackson was spotted in cowboy boots at one point. Paired with denim jeans or leather jackets, they gave wearers a tough, confident edge. So yeah, if you walked into a high school hallway in a pair of these, people moved. Cowboy boots weren't just for cowboys. In the 80s, they were for legends. Today, they're still full-on fashion. Number 8, Saucony's spot-built shoes. Before Saucony was a major name in running, they gave us the Spot Built, an underdog sneaker that earned cult status in the 1980s. These shoes were rugged, built for performance, and had a simple, almost no-nonsense look. But what set them apart was a little thing called the Larry Bird. That's right. The Celtics legend wore spot-built sneakers on the court before signing with Converse. And that association gave the shoe instant street cred among kids who wanted to play like Larry. They weren't flashy, but they had soul. Durable enough for neighborhood hoops, stylish enough for a school dance. You might not see them on every top 10 list, but if you had a pair, you were definitely in the know. Spot-built shoes were low-key MVPs of the decade. Number 9, jelly shoes. Oh yes, jelly shoes. If you were a kid in the 1980s, there's no way you didn't either own these or envy someone who did. These sparkly, translucent shoes were made of flexible PVC plastic and came in every color under the sun, from clear, pink, purple, even glitter-filled. And they had one major thing going for them. They were fun. Jelly shoes were cheap, colorful, and looked like something out of a fairy tale. Girls wore them to school, birthday parties, and church, usually paired with frilly socks or bright tights. Sure, they didn't have the best arch support, and yes, your feet would sweat like crazy, but no one cared, because when you wore jelly shoes, you felt magic. And let's not forget that unmistakable jelly squish sound when you walk. Music to every 80s kid's ears. Number 10, Capezio shoes. If you were even remotely into dance, theater, or show choir in the 80s, you definitely knew about Capezios. Originally a brand for professional dancers, Capezio's jazz shoes and split soles went mainstream in the 1980s, thanks to the aerobics boom and the rise of movies like Flashdance and Fame. People were obsessed with fitness, and Capezios looked sleek, modern, and perfectly suited for your next jazzercise class. These were the kind of shoes that said, yeah, I could break into a dance routine at any moment. They were lightweight, flexible, and snug. And with stars like Madonna bringing dancewear into everyday street fashion, Capezios became just as common in malls as in studios. Capezios helped blur the line between performance wear and fashion. And if you wore them casually, you'd dance through life. Number 11, KangaROOS sneakers. A shoe with a pocket? Yes, meet the quirky genius of KangaROOS sneakers. These athletic shoes were all about performance and utility. Each pair came with a tiny zippered pocket built right into the shoe. You could stash coins, your house key, or even a secret note. As a kid, this was the coolest thing ever. Introduced in the early 80s, KangaROOS were designed by an American jogger who didn't want to carry a wallet during runs. But when kids found out about the secret pocket, game over. They had a good grip, solid comfort, and some seriously fun colors. You'd see them on the playground, in PE class, and even on cartoon characters in commercials. Wearing KangaROOS made you feel like part athlete, part spy. And honestly, that pocket alone earned them a place in sneaker history. Number 12, Moccasins. Last but never least, the always comfy, always stylish Moccasins. These soft leather or suede slip-ons, often with fringe or beading, drew on Native American shoemaking tradition. And in the 1980s, they had a full-blown fashion moment. Moccasins were the go-to chill shoe. They were perfect for lazy weekends, art teachers, and kids who wanted something that felt natural and earthly. No laces, no straps, just effortless comfort. Some kids wore them barefoot, other kids with thick knit socks. Either way, you weren't trying too hard, but somehow, you still look cool. You'd often find moccasins in catalogs like LL Bean or Land's End. And they showed up in tons of 80s coming-of-age movies too. They weren't loud or flashy, but they were beloved. Wearing moccasins felt like a warm hug for your feet. And in a decade of electric fashion, sometimes that's exactly what you needed. These were 12 unforgettable pairs that defined an era. From the techie pumps to the sparkly jellies, the 1980s gave us attitude, personality, and a sense of style that's still influencing fashion today. These shoes were trendsetters. They were mile markers of youth. They were how we fit in or stood out. They carried us through birthday parties, first crushes, school dances, and summer break. And while some of them might be gathering dust in an attic or resold as vintage collectibles, designers keep taking inspiration from them for every new sneaker drop. So next time you lace up your modern kicks, take a moment to thank the totally bodacious souls of the 80s. They walked so your style could run.